when you guys set out to create your culture for your
Yeah.
home, what did you and your wife do together to establish that? Where was there tension? How did you get through the tension?
Yeah.
How did you guys do it?
I think that I'm going to answer your question in a slightly roundabout way.
Okay.
And it kind of comes back to the point that you made in another podcast, which is bring older, wiser people around you. And so, what Beth and I did when we started having kids was we really started paying attention. Who are the families that are out ahead of us that have families and kids that we love and that we're like, oh, it would be wonderful if our kids were like their kids. And it would be wonderful if, and we would look at the relationships between mom and dad and the kids, if our relationships with our kids looked like that. So you start with kind of the end in mind as you come into these conversations with your wife, and you bring in great counsel. And so we had some amazing counsel from some amazing people who were incredible parents, raising families that we saw and we thought, man, we want to look just like them, the Priskeneses or the Hollows or the, and I could just go on with the names. And then it was a matter of going and spending time with them. What do you do? Like, what did you do? So for us, when we started having kids, we were thinking we want to look like that. And the relationships clearly matter the most. So when we're developing this culture in our home, we want to make sure it's highly relational. I didn't know anything about Jim Wilder's book then that I know now. And now I go, oh, thank you, Lord, for leading us in this way, because we had high joy. We smiled at each other a lot. We laughed a lot together. We had a Hesed love, that covenantal attachment love. The kids knew we were 100% sold out for them no matter what. And we had a strong group identity that was around Jesus. We go to church on Sunday mornings because we want to go worship Jesus. We go and we do our work with excellence because we want it to worship Jesus, and really leading intentionally towards those three things. And then healthy correction comes in, which, as a parent, it starts young. And it's hard. And you're like, did I make a good choice just then? Like, it was, man, she didn't obey me. I remember the very first time I was alone with my oldest. We were in one of our first apartments, and we had this television. Now, the televisions back then were not like the televisions we have today. It was heavy, and it was on a television cart that was wobbly on carpet. So it was even wobblier. It was a safety nightmare, right? But Eden crawled over to this television, and I looked at Eden and I said, no, don't touch it. No. And she looked at the TV and she looked at me, and then she looked at the TV and she went, she touched it. She's like, what are you going to do? Like, complete, like, pushing the boundaries. And I'm like, wait, you're too young to be willfully disobeying me when I just told you no. And I know you know what no means. And you're like, what do you do in that moment? It's like, well, there's a healthy correction. There's a lot of love. It's not an anger thing. It's like,
did you laugh?
No, I did not laugh.
Okay. There have been times when she has been defiant, and I can't help but laugh.
Totally.
And I'm
like, I get it.
And then she thinks it's so funny, and she does it again. I'm like,
right.